Hi, I am Kodili-nye. Uh, Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending on your time zone. Uh, Thank you for joining us once again. We are going to discuss important issue concerning all of us, and this concerning erosion in Anambra State, Nigeria. New subscriber, you're welcome. We're going to talk about erosion. Is erosion happening in Anambra State? Is it truly a natural disaster or man-made or what? What's your view about that? I am still Codley NYE. We're going to discuss about this. Stay tuned and we will discuss about so many things about erosion. First of all, you have to understand what erosion is. Erosion, as the name implies, talking about eroding of the top surface, the washing away of the soil's top surface or the ground surface. That's actually the meaning of it. So, meaning that it can involve wind, it can involve running water like flooding, can cause it, or by excavation using bulldozers or caterpillars or extractors or whatever. That can cause the washing away of top surface. I am Cell Codley NYA. So our topic is this a truly a natural disaster, the erosion happening in Anambra State? That's what we're going to discuss about. And stay tuned. And your opinion is highly welcome. And stay tuned. This is one of the erosion sites in Anambra State. This is in Njikoka local government, Abagana area. You can see the devastation here also, and it will help us to discuss on this erosion issue. Stay tuned as we continue on that. And we are discussing if erosion in Anambra State, particularly Nigeria in general, is it a natural disaster or man-made? Anambra State is the erosion capital of the world. It's one of those states that has the issue of erosion, but it being called a national disaster. We are going to discuss on it. Stay tuned. I am Sir Codley NYA. We are discussing erosion in Anambra State. Is it a natural disaster or calamity or what? Is it a man-made? Anambra State has been regarded by several organizations as the erosion capital of the world, not just Nigeria, because of the thousands of erosion menace around it. And this was mostly caused by flooding, by other things. But we are here to discuss about it and to see if it's truly a natural phenomenon or disaster. So many of the time, even if you listen to some people or government officials, they keep on saying natural disaster, that the erosion is natural disaster. But we are going to look at what has the erosion in Anambra State, what has caused it, if it's truly a natural disaster. We are going to be discussing about many of these erosion sites. You have a big one in Oko, Nanka, Ekulobia, uh, you have in Oba, you have in Ozobolo, you have in Nobi, you have in Agro, and you have in many of the places, there are many massive gullies that are developed, and most of the towns and villages and cities in Anambra State has one problem of gully erosion, and this has eaten up on the small size land of that state. The state is not really blessed with huge land mass. I think it's the second smallest state in land mass after Lagos. Although Lagos has been expanding into the sea, but Anambra State are not opportune to expand so much. So we are going to look at the genesis of all these things. Um, Anambra State is in a rainforest region, a tropical region. You have so much rain and so much flooding and all those, and because of the industrial nature or industrious nature or entrepreneur abilities or powers of the indigenes of Anambra State, the state has been like a construction site because the people are getting wealthier every day and they are building a lot of structures, and they are actually in forefront of getting a lot of uh, approved and unapproved structures and erected in the state. And the government also also building some roads, and the method they've been using over the years has also been the major cause of this soil erosion. The government, the people, and all those things has involved in this unholy act of causing soil degradation and causing massive erosion in Anambra State, Nigeria, and other places in Nigeria. I have to give you examples of that. In the past, a lot of the government in Anambra State awarded so much kilometers of roads, and those roads they are not actually uh, willing to complete those roads, and the contractors were mobilized with peanuts to go and start the road project. And these contractors, without checking the impact assessment or the nature of Anambra State or the soil type, they will just use their heavy payloaders and bulldozers or caterpillars, whatever they call it, and basically remove the top soil of the road of the area, even bringing down major trees and all those things. The vegetations are completely removed, and the whole place is left bare. And this, when the topsoil is tampered with, the vegetations removed, the trees removed, which help to hold firm the ground become porous, and the ground become vulnerable to the elements like flooding, like and uh, wind activities. And because of this attitude, most of those areas has experienced a lot of problems. So over the years, this has contributed more in this major erosion problem. I am Kodili-nye, who will conclude shortly. Welcome back. I am Kodili-nye. We are talking about the erosion in Anambra State of Nigeria, West Africa. Is that a natural phenomenon or natural calamity or a natural problem or man-made? That should be the topic we are discussing about. And we are talking about how all these things started and what has been causing it. Another one is the soil, the people that are excavating mineral resources and the soil for latrats, construction company, and some people selling the soil or latrats for road construction and for building. So indiscriminately destroying the ecosystem, destroying the top surface because of the mad rush to get this soil, to sell all the soil. And because the government is non-existent, there is no policy formulation, there is no government checks and balances, because the government in itself is highly inefficient in dealing with all these problems, because the government is also a contributor, a major contributor in this soil erosion crisis over the years in Anambra State and in Nigeria generally. So because of this, it has not stopped and the menace has not abated. One of the issue is the unregulated building patterns in the state because of um, the massive wealth a lot of the indigenes or citizens of Anambra State do command in Nigeria. So they have a lot of disposable income. So they are able to just start to build houses, even building it in floodplains. And because the government unplanned system of not actually planning anywhere, but allowing the people to just get on with building hazardly everywhere, including the floodplains. So this has also contributed to this problem. And destruction of the forests for wood, for construction, selling of woods, because wood has become very important commodity, not just local but internationally. So many of the uh, potential investors are looking at cutting down big trees and destroying forests and all those, all without actually thinking about the environmental impact that this will bring and devastation it will bring to lives and property of the people of the state. That's why over the years this has continuously bringing untold hardship to the people. And another one is the non non-channelization of flood water, the improper channelization of flood water has also contributed to the erosion. Example is on the Onitsha Enugu Old Road near Ogidi area. You can see what has been happening there. You can also see that in Oba Onitsha Owe Road. You can see that in Zobolo. And many of those towns and villages around those major roads. And this has been a major problem over the years. And the government has no answer to that because they are also part of the problem. So if a place is well planned, the government should have been uh, thinking about how to hold on to some of this running water. But this is not part of the agenda. And even when they do the drainage cannot solve the problem alone because the drainage cannot contain the massive flooding, the massive water that is coming out from thousands of houses that are being built. Because if the soil cannot drain the excess water, leaving it to go through the drainage will be overwhelmed, and there will be overflooding, and this will basically blown away many of the area. So the government has not actually have a plan to get some of these problems sorted out. So that's why you can see, let me give you example, part of Onitsha metropolitan area in Obosi Anambra. Most of this area was in the past farmlands and big forests. And as a result of human activity in building a lot of estate and the houses, and the government not actually coming in to help, or even trying to reserve some area, like making some area left for vegetation and water reservoirs or pond or artificial lakes. So these areas suddenly that used to soak up the excess water from rain, is now left porous because more flood was is being generated because of the massive constructions and houses that have developed over the years. And this has continuously caused a lot of issue, even when some of those builders or investors put their drainage. You notice that the drainage, even during the rainy season, cannot contain the massive flooding, and this flooding is coming with in a accelerated speed, which normally overwhelm whatever that stays on its way, including the drainage. So these are major challenges. We have talked about the sand excavators for lateral, for buildings. They are contributors. The citizens also are contributors. The government is a major problem in this erosion crisis. So with all these things I've just enumerated and many others, you can see that the erosion in Anambra State is not actually wind-based. It is caused by water, flood water, and human. And organizations like Anambra government officials, and the people, investors, property developers. So you can this be solved? This issue, can it be solved? It can be solved if necessary actions are taken, if the government become proactive, especially if the government is leading the development or any economic development. But in the case that the government is not actually in the forefront of economic development, it become apparent that this disaster, the end, is not in sight. It will continuously happening over the years to come. So for me, I do believe that a solution can be found in dealing with this erosion crisis. And that solution, I will use Onitsha as an example. If you are in Onitsha, you can see that there is no room for trees anymore. There's no room for waterways, water reservoirs, artificial lakes. So for me, if I am to advise the government or policy formulators, is to go back to basis. They should lead in front. They should rescue the land from total devastation. And one of the things they need to do is to look at having a water reservoirs, artificial water reservoirs that will actually contain some of this water before it's channeled with multiples of pipes to the drainage. So this can help to hold some of this water in Greater Onitsha area. This can be reciprocated all around the state. Building lakes, artificial lakes, ponds, or water reservoir can help to get this issue to a manageable level. That's uh, one of the ways to control this erosion. Another one is planting of trees. The government should make it mandatory that every area, every house should have not less than 2 to 3 trees. And near the roads, near the curbs, trees should be planted. And the government should create a way of recreating forests in the city, creating a wooded land forest, even if it's in a small area, creating forests many of the places. These forests will help because the root of these trees will help to checkmate the area from having issue of erosion. And it's very important and it's very vital that the government should be more proactive in solving this problem, because without them interfering or being proactive, there's nothing the people can do. No development should be left only on the hands of the people without the government being the regulator and leading from the front. So the time has gone and has passed when this should continue like that. So this is one of the two ways to control erosion. Another one is also having canals, creating waterways in the city, and also having not just surface drainage, but uh, underground drainages that will, those surface drainages will get into the underground and go through, and making sure that the the river banks or the streams that these waters are emptied are dredged properly, and the necessary embankment uh, build around it. They should build embankment around those streams around them, and also make sure that the trees are planted around those rivers like bamboos, to make sure that the soil are not washed off. And they will make sure that those streams and rivers are dredged regularly before the rainy season and after the rainy season, and making sure that the sand excavators uh, should also be regulated, that the activities should be regulated. And those miners, those that are mining calorines and other things like iron ore and other mineral resources, clay in Anambra State, should also be regulated, and their every move checked always, making sure that there is environmental impact assessment done on everything they do. And new buildings should be encouraged to have a catchment area to retain some of the rainwaters. The buildings should have at least 2 or 3 thousand tanks, gallons of water that can container that can take some of the rainwaters, and those rainwaters should be reused so that it doesn't go through the drainage system. So that the one that go through the drainage system is is little. So this is one of the ways. Now we are going to those erosion prone areas. Some of those erosion areas are so massive that it's going to be very, very difficult to get those lands, recover those lands. But we can also recover those lands by having a proactive measures to map out something within 2 years to deal with them once and for all. And one of the ways to deal with them is start to plant bamboo, massive plantation of bamboo trees in them that will firm up the land that is being eroded. I'm planting all the cashew and mahoganies and other trees that can help to, and a lot of cover crops that can also cover the topsoil. I'm making sure that any area that is left bare should be grassed, and some of those areas should also be uh, they should also build something like a retaining walls that can actually hold some of the water and reduce the speed in which it's going through those areas. So by so doing, it will help to mitigate these problems. So it's very important for us to know that the nature um, can only fight back when we abuse it. So it is the activities of the government, the people that created this. It is not totally a natural disaster, especially in Anambra State, but it is the activities of the people and the government that over the years has created this issue. I am still Kodili-nye. I don't know where you join in this video, but we are discussing the erosion in Anambra State. Is it natural disaster? Is it caused by nature or is it caused by human? I don't know your opinion on all these things, but I know that this problem can be solved and it can be turned also to be a gold mine. All those vast areas of land that have been lost to them can be recovered again. And the people will be able to sleep with their two eyes closed. And most of this property that has over the years been rendered useless by the erosion can be recovered, and there won't be no more destruction of life and properties. So your views to this can be appreciated. Drop your comment concerning this issue. I like to hear from you. What do you think? I do like to bring more solution to this, but I want to hear from you, and so that we can help to bring a better homeland for the people and a livable and prosperous homeland. I can also talk about issue of road construction. Instead of removing most of, like if you want to build a kilometer of road, there's no need. If you know that you are not going to do the whole road at once, why not take it a few meters and do the few meters you know you can actually, and leave the rest instead of destroying the top surface of the road, and at the same time abandon it to to be eroded by water, running water or flood. So it's very, very important because you can see over a lot of road abandonment, and the erosion has already cut them into many places. And the government also, the people should also be empowered to also sue the government when they fail to do the needful, because the government cannot turn around and say they are government, but they are behaving in a way that nonchalant attitude, and turn around and singing that this is a natural disaster. These are not natural disasters. So over the years, the government of the state and the federal, the local government have failed over this, because by saying natural disaster, they are actually absolving themselves from any blame. I can understand they're trying to avoid any blame by blaming the nature, because the nature cannot speak, but the nature can only be looking and saying, it's not me, it's you, because you destroyed me and you are reaping the consequences. So when you destroy the nature, what you are going to reap is total devastation, which erosion is one of them. The destruction of your property, destruction of life, destruction of livelihoods, destruction of whatever you can think that is good. So very, very important for us to always be mindful of what we do and be mindful of how we act concerning our environment. Environment is is actually in a danger in many of these areas. In Anambra State, is more pronounced because of unregulated building patterns and government over the years nonchalant attitude towards the issue that matters most, the development of the state. So I will also advise the Soludo government to make sure that these lapses over the years is corrected and is looked into. Because if it's not looked into, what will happen is that this continues. And remember, the more you uh, fail to tackle it, the more money you spend in trying to solve the problem. There's no point of spending the scarce resources trying to deal with erosion that cannot has uh, will not has happened in the first place. So let us I will advise the government to always be proactive and be in the forefront of fighting this menace, so that the state will continue to develop without all these booby traps and all these disasters. The people have suffered enough. The wastages of the economic uh, potentials should and must be stopped by all, including the government. So people should join hands together to draw the attention of the government when they are failing, and the government drawing the attention of the people when they are failing. So it should be peri persu. It should be togetherness. It should be all of them, all of the people working together to save their environment. I am Kodili-nye. Continue to watch. Let us look at another erosion site. Stay tuned. Yeah, this is one of the erosion site. Some time ago, a year ago, they have been they're trying to reclaim. You can see the devastation. You can call this natural problem. This is just man-made, because they are developing the area and the water is trying to find its way, and at the end of it causing eroding of the top surface of the soil. So that's exactly what is happening here, or happened here.
Anambra State government under the sponsorship of the World Bank. You can see that the government of Anambra State under 19 in its efforts to leave our environment better than he met it. This is the reason why this effort here is going on. And everything is being done to save the environment. If you look at the neighborhood, you can see the surrounding areas. You can see the building in the distance threatened by what used to be a very big gully here. You can see this other building hanging. He would have been swept away but for this interventionist effort by NewMap, the World Bank, and the government of Anambra State. So this is what is going down here in Abuja. Thank you very much.
This was nature erosion that happened some time ago. These are the people from that area in Onitsha. Uh, the erosion was massive, uh, and many of the houses were on the verge of being swept by these massive gullies. And you can see the people protesting, asking the government then to save them from the menace, because it was government nonchalant attitude that created the problem in the first place, because of the poor construction of drainage and poor construction of roads, and channeling of the water from this area in Onitsha that created that massive problem. You can see the erosion at the back of these people very soon. You can see the erosion. Um, let's see the erosion. You can see the erosion there. Don't know if you are seeing it. That's the erosion. It went down towards Sankisi stream, and most of the houses there were swept away by this. This is what happened in Nature Way Road some time ago as well. You see the massive gully. That's massive. That was massive. I am Kodili-nye. Keep watching. These are some of the erosion, past and present. You can see all those houses near this. These some of the erosion sites that happened in the past and they're still happening. You can see how devastation, how deep some of them are. You can see that's what people are going through. It's sad that all these things are happening in 21st century because of poor planning and neglect, both by the government and the people. It's sad. That's why we're discussing if this is you can see the drainage virtually collapsed. This is part of Onitsha Metro. This is what is happening, and the little scarce resources have just been wasted because of failure, and nobody is held to account for these failures. That's why the ugly incident continue. And what you'll be hearing is, oh, this is a natural disaster. That's the mantra. And because of that, there's nothing can be done and they are part because already in the natural once you label it a natural disaster, you now absolve yourself from any blame and nothing to be done in future to to remedy the situation. And the scarce resources are just wasted on this. It's very sad, but something has to be done to mitigate this problem. I am called the NYA. Keep on watching. Sorry about the shaking of the video. Is just keep watching. We are talking about this erosion in Anambra State, a man-made or a natural disaster. What causes it? That's what we are discussing. You can always drop your comment on the comment box. I do appreciate any of your comments, and they will help also because the people involved can always look at it, read the comments, and my try to do better job next time. It's very important to leave a comment. It's very important also to join in the conversation because we are looking to have a better homeland, a livable and prosperous homeland. And we can only have that if everybody join in the business of turning around the whole area by advocacy of also good governance is very, very important. um, we the room we want to live, uh, we can only bring it to existence by our attitude. Very important. This the devastation by government of Anambra State in the past when building just a kilometer of road at Mbemena, Obosi Onitsha Metro. This road was given to a contractor which is very, very poor construction company, and the past government that did that under the past governor nearly caused a lot of problem because most of the houses in this street was on the verge of being swept away by that poor construction going on. And this caused a lot of problems. Many of the people lost their livelihood in this. Many cars was destroyed because the contractor was very, very doing a bad job. The road that was very, very good before the contract was awarded was completely destroyed by using the heavy payloader to completely take away the road completely, and in so doing completely narrowed the road and done a very bad job. And the people were shouting then. I was part of those that were talking about that because that contractor was very one of the worst in the state. And because no people were asking then what happened that this road was given to this contractor, just 1 kilometer of road, and the road was destroyed. And it end up the governor. It took him time to come, and the commissioner then was coming and lying and saying, "Oh, blah blah blah, something." And this road took almost a year and to build, just 1 kilometer of road, and the place was completely destroyed. At the end of the day, the road was so narrow now. If you go there, that Mbemena used to be very wide. It was very wide, very massive road. the contractor succeeded in narrowing completely the road and done a very bad job there. And look at a lot of houses then was he appeared in national news everywhere, and even some government officials were shouting, "Oh, natural disaster is strike again in Anambra State." But people that were there know that this is not natural disaster. It was caused by the government. It was totally caused by the government. This is one of the examples of the government contributing, a major contributor of the erosion menace in the state. That's this was in the past government. Um, you can see that these are issues that when you look at this, you'll be wondering how can a responsible government be indulging in this thing, but it's happening all the time. So if there is no video of such, um, people can easily say, "Oh no, nothing like that happened." But this was in Mbemena some years back, where the government failed to get things done properly, and it took them almost a year and to complete to finish out this road. That's the poor governance that has happened over the years. That the Soludo administration should look at getting the Anambra state to where it should be. Because the state has suffered enough, and the people are fed up of continuing in poor governance, nonchalant attitude by the people that's supposed to be in government, people that they voted for, or in Nigeria, this thing was selected themselves in. Nobody knows, but let's. So he should also make sure that what has happened in the past, where all these things were blamed on the nature, should not happen again, and he should look at a way of you know people taking responsibility when they fail, and necessary actions taken against them. If those that are put in place to do the needful, or contractors or whoever, should be face the music, they should face the music. So we are discussing about, is the erosion issue in Anambra State, was it a natural disaster or man-made? But from what you are seeing in some of the video I put, you can see that it's not really natural disaster, but a man-made one. And you have your own opinion also. Your opinion is also appreciated. You can always um, bring out your own opinion, no matter how negative or positive, all are valued. I am Kodili-nye. Keep on watching. Your inputs are very much appreciated. You are watching one of the past incident of erosion in Anambra State. This road is called Mbemana in Obosi, part of the greater Onitsha metropolitan city. This is one of the example where the government in the past created this monster of erosion, eroding of surface of this road, by basically giving the contract of this road that was not really bad to a very, very bad construction company. I don't want to mention their name, You can go and check out the construction company. But it was a very bad job, and the road has not actually recovered truly from it, because the road is quite narrow now, even when they completed the road project, and nobody asked them anything. That's the nature of the impunity that has reigned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Continue to support this channel, please. Your support is always welcome. Thank you very much for always being there for us, and we are on a destination to success. We're on the road to success. We're almost moving into success. With you on our side, we can always reach the success ground. Please support us to get up to 1,000 subscribers. I am Kodili-nye. God bless you, and remain blessed, and remain safe also wherever you are. Thank you, and bye.